Hi, and welcome to everyone who has decided to join me tonight for this live video on energizing purpose. I'm going to wait a few minutes because I know there are a few people who have already said that they would like to join us. We've got Sarupa and Ola, Haresh, Pia, which is great because basically these are people who have already sent questions. Hi Juliet and Clara, nice to have you join us. Hi Anita. Tonight we're talking about energizing our purpose, or at least tonight I'm talking about energizing our purpose, and we'll see where it goes and we'll see how the questions and the answers that I give open things up. Hi Tracy, nice to see you again. And great to see your mum looking so good. When we talk about energizing our purpose, we're talking about how we can put more energy, literally put more energy into it, activate it, enthuse it, so that our purpose becomes our way of life. And yet, at the same time, our way of life becomes our purpose. We've had a few questions around it, but they seem to start with, how do we know if we've clarified our purpose? How do we know if we've connected to it and we're living it? Hi Andy, nice of you to join us. So, one of the questions I was asked was, until we clarify our purpose, how do we continue to work with it? Do we simply focus on what's in front of us? This comes from Haresh. We don't just focus on what's in front of us. Hi Shalini, hi Elaine. We don't just focus on what's in front of us. Clarifying our purpose is about, that's a whole other conversation, but clarifying our purpose is about understanding what in our heart we're here to do. It's not something that comes from the head. It's not something that comes from the emotional body. It's where our heart sits. Hi Toshi, hi Julie. Nice of you to be here. Sharon, good that you're watching. So our purpose is about what lies at the heart of who we are. What is it that we automatically do that often we don't even know until we start to pay attention to the things that do happen automatically for us, through us, and to us. So having clarified it, it's about energizing it. And the first and most important way to energize your purpose is through meditation. The more that you sit in meditation and ask to connect to it, the stronger that becomes. If you sit in meditation, and John's commented on this a few times, that people go into meditation and start telling spirit what their purpose is all about and how they're going to fulfill it. You've got it backwards in that situation. If you sit to do your meditation in the void, if you sit in the silence and you ask to be guided to understand your purpose more and more fully, and then you sit and you listen, you'll start to have, as John says, you'll start to have little reminders. Things will pop up to prompt you or to remind you that this is the energy that's within you that you're working with. And perhaps that might help some of you more clearly. Our purpose is our energy. Whatever at heart we are, that's the energy of our purpose, and our purpose comes from that. So if we're naturally a healer, then that's our purpose. If we're naturally a teacher, if we're naturally a caretaker. All of these things are important clues. But to energize that isn't enough to say, I'm a teacher, I'm a healer. It's about saying, hi Maria, hi Caroline. It's about saying to yourself, how can I be the best of who I am? And Orla asks, what's the difference between energizing our purpose and energizing personality? It's a vast difference, because the personality is the mental and emotional bodies connected. Our purpose comes from the heart. So when we energize from a heart level, what we're doing is we are aspiring and inspiring. We aspire to be the best we can be, but we focus on the inspiration that Spirit gives us to guide us to be more. Anita says, so that's why judging ourselves is pointless and detrimental. Absolutely. Because when you judge yourself, you don't stand in purpose. You stand in judgment. You stand in criticism. And that doesn't help anybody. So to meditate and observe the signs, Haresh says, is very practical. Sarupa says she did a void journey this weekend and asked to be shown her purpose, and first time ever I got an energy and not a job title or specific activity. Yeah, and that's the point. You know, there's all this hype around purpose. Thanks, Maria. There's all this hype around purpose, and it's in capitals and it's big and we have to work on a world stage and it's dramatic. All of that is personality. John has said countless times that the road sweeper does a fantastic purpose. The person that sweeps the streets clears the negative energy for all of us. That's a purpose. But you wouldn't call it a glamorous job. You wouldn't call it an exciting job. However, it's an absolutely essential piece of work that benefits us all and helps us to avoid disease. So, no, it's not about energizing our personality, because it's not our personality that's here to fulfill our purpose. Our soul is here to fulfill the purpose, using our personality and its gifts and abilities to do so. So whilst we create big dramas and we have the glamour of we're in service to the world, we're not going to connect to our purpose. Yes, we are in service to the world, but our purpose is about sharing. Our service comes through sharing who we are, at the heart of who we are, not who we think we are or think we should be. That sounds great, but who we are at the heart of ourselves. So I hope that answered that question for you, Orla. She also goes on to say, John talks about going to visit the tapestry room in his talk on this topic, but what if you can't get in? You actually can always get into the tapestry room. Those of you who know about the tapestry room, you can always get into it. Some of you may know it by a different name, the Akash or Akashic Records. It's the same concept. John just describes it in a different way. There's always the possibility of entering. However, if you don't know about it, does that mean that you cannot access your purpose? No, it just means that you don't have that process to do it. If you're wanting to energize your purpose, if you want to serve and share, your guides and teachers will help you one way or another to do so. There are lots of ways to climb the mountain, but we all get to the same point at the top. So Haresh went on to say, how do we energize our purpose using our intuition? I think I've covered that by listening to what your guides say, not just your intuition. Your guides will talk to you through your intuition, but they'll also talk to you directly through meditation. And how do we move beyond what holds us back without it becoming our focus and distraction from our actual purpose? There's a few people voiced this question in a variety of ways, but it's the same thing. If we focus on what's wrong with us, so we come back to judgment and criticism, then we're not energizing our purpose, we're energizing what's wrong with us. If we focus on what we want to share, then we're energizing what we want to share. It's positive and it's constructive. And one of the best ways to do that is to be a role model. And we've talked about that before, is to actually be what you want to be in service and encourage others to do their service in their way by being the fullness of themselves as well. Sonia asks, how do we keep focusing on our purpose? This is another one that a couple of people have asked, despite the ups and downs in life. It's difficult. Let's make it clear, life happens to us. We don't control it. We try. But life happens to us and it'll throw us curveballs. So when it does, we're allowed, because we're human, we're allowed to stop and have a bit of a temper tantrum or have a cry or sit in shock or whatever it might be. We're allowed that because we're not judging ourselves and we're not criticizing ourselves for it. However, if when those curveballs appear, you take at some point a step back, look at it and say, okay, why is this happening? What's the significance now? If you've been thrown a curveball at this point in time, there's a reason why it's now and it wasn't a week ago, a year ago, 2 weeks' time, 2 years' time. If it's happening now, it's very, very relevant. If you see yourself as a victim of that, then you'll miss the opportunity that's hidden inside the appearance, because it's always significant. How to pick it up or gain clarity when we feel we've lost sight of our purpose? Go back to sharing. Once you've gotten over the upset, and don't forget when we're upset, John says we're being set up to learn something. Once you've gotten over the upset, it's about looking at it and saying, okay, in light of this, what's possible for me to do now? Where can I take it? What am I going to learn? What's the gift? It's not always possible to see the gift immediately. It is, however, possible to decide not to feel a victim. And that's the biggest thing. If you feel a victim of what's happening to you, you're not in your purpose, you're in your personality. Julie asked the same question and she said, so it leads to a kind of stop-start energizing, which gives intermittent results. That's true, but then our purpose isn't about results. Our purpose is about achieving a level of being that allows us to keep moving forward and sharing all the time. And so, yes, the results are going to fluctuate. And in some circumstances, for some people that are living their purpose, it can take a long time before it becomes clear. John trained me for 7 years before I had any idea that I was going to be his channel. There were no results in those 7 years of an external nature. The results were all of what was occurring within me. Is there an energy, this is Marianne, is there an energy coming into our planet that we're accessing now that was not available earlier? An energy war going on, which is pushing us back from all the light we're putting into the grid. And I think Marianne's asking this because there's times, as she says, there's times she often needs to get grounded by lying on the grass or having a bath. Yes, there is a battle going on at the moment. We're moving from an old energy to a new. It's a transition stage. It's been going on for a while, but it's kind of like the tectonic plates. Everything's fine for a while and then suddenly there's an almighty crash and you get an earthquake and the ground's very shaky for a while. There's a lot of devastation and then it settles down. So yes, there is an energy battle going on. However, it's not for us to step into battle. It's for us to stand on the grid and radiate the light and not give that battle any attention, because if we do, we energize it. Julie's answer to what I said earlier about the stop-start. We develop so much as we mature and often need years to do so. What is different for children that show exceptional wisdom at an early age? Is there a reason they've come so early to shine? Well, this is happening more and more. For the last 60 years, each generation has been clearer. I'm not going to say more pure, but they're clearer. Their light is clearer. Because there's been a lot of work done by a lot of people to clear energy, to bring light into the planet, so that the children that are coming in now don't have to come through quite so much murk as we did, for example. Haresh says that 7 years took patience, persistence and faith. Yes, it did. And I can tell you there were times when I thought I was losing the plot, and why the heck didn't I just go out and get a real job? And that's part of the path. It's part of the fluctuation in energy. But it's also how we learn and grow if we've got the patience. Anita says, how can you tell the difference between when you're energizing your purpose on a practical level without it being or turning into a goal-setting head takeover? Which is pretty similar to what Haresh was saying, but I think there's a different piece to this. People tell me, I've solved it now. I've sorted out what was blocking me. I'm fixed. I don't have a problem anymore. I've done all that I've done. Somebody actually said to me, well, more than one person actually said to me at one point, I've learned all I needed to learn. Now I'm ready to teach it. We never stop learning. We never stop growing. And we've always got something to share. But when we focus on results, when we cross off that we've dealt with our mental body and then cross off that we've dealt with our emotional body, I've done relationship, I've done value, I've done that. People talk like that, you know, I've done this, I've done this, I've done this. No, you haven't. You're in your head. It's headspace. Purpose is not about results. Purpose is about the energy we came to share with other people, and we will be sharing it until the day we die, whether we know we're living our purpose or not. Because it's who we are. Our purpose is who we are. Amanda says, you and John have often said we don't need to know our purpose to play our part, and that's very true. Is it the case that the more we serve through actions like Harmony 21, being a bridge of light between spirit and matter, practicing kindness and being heart-centered, the more we energize our purpose? Absolutely. Absolutely. Kindness, compassion, being caring, being heart-centered, they're all purposeful. And they all lift the frequency of the planet, which is why we came, because we came to bring light into the world. We're the light that we came to bring. We don't have to go and find it out there. It's already in our heart. It's just about letting it shine. So, Amanda says, is our purpose to serve? Our purpose is to serve by sharing who we are and how we view life from our heart. Not converting. It's not about converting. It's about sharing. Pia says, work that one loves is no longer work. Very true. How does soul purpose infused with love look? I don't see it. The reason I don't see it is that if you're aligned to your purpose, it doesn't need to be infused with love, because our purpose comes from love. So if you're doing something in a loving manner, that doing may be the expression of your purpose. It's not your purpose. The purpose lies behind that. And the second thing that Pia said, knowing the joy of stepping forward in service, having experienced it too, which is the final step where the pull of the illusion and glamour snap away for good. Oh, wouldn't it be great if we knew that? Wouldn't it be absolutely fantastic if I could say to you, step 6 means you no longer have illusion and glamour. While ever you live in a world of illusion and glamour, you will have it coming into your face for you to be able to see beyond it. There is no it's like another outcome. There is no point of the journey where it's not present, but there comes a point of the journey where it's not important, where it doesn't have an impact. And that's different for each of us, because it depends how we're walking our path. And we don't all walk the same path. We don't all do things the same way. Julie says, is it just being in alignment and building on maintaining that? No, yes, being in alignment's important and building on maintaining that's important, but that makes it about you. Whereas whenever you focus upon what you're sharing with other people, that's what keeps you in alignment. It helps us not to become too self-centered that the purpose of our service is forgotten. And the purpose of our service is how we help other people. The benefit to us is almost coincidental and I don't believe in coincidence, but it's almost coincidental as a consequence of the service. So Bronwyn says, when we energize our purpose, does it mean we're fulfilling it more? It means that we are embracing it more. I think that's the word I would use, Bronwyn, that we're embracing it more, energizing it. What we're saying is through meditation, through humility, through seeing my service as a small cog in a very big wheel, as John puts it, by being willing to share who I am and be vulnerable if necessary, warts and all, I become a model for other people to see that it's okay, it's safe to do the same. And when we all do that, our hearts open more and more, we create the world we want to live in. When we fulfill, when we're fulfilling that stage beyond, and John will talk about that before the end of the year, he's told me, so you don't have to worry about that one too much. Yeah, for me, it was a point when it became very clear to me, this is who I am, and I don't want to be anything else, and I don't want to do anything else. I didn't need Joshua to blow the trumpet and the walls of Jericho come down. There was no big fanfare. It's just, this is it. And when you can reach that point, when your service isn't something you're reaching for, it's not something you're trying to find, when you accept that your service comes from a purpose that is the energy in your heart, that is who you really are, then everything else falls into place. Then it's really peaceful. So, is it something we're doing or more about how we're being? It's always about how we're being. Who we be opens the door for our service to flow. So if we're trying to be something or someone we're not, we block our purpose. We don't energize it, we block it. If we try to appease those around us because we want to be liked, then it's not about our purpose, it's about being liked. It's about our personality. When we stand in the light of who we are, accepting that whatever we do, some people will like us and some people won't, and it doesn't cause us a problem to know that, then our purpose can shine through, because we've got rid of a filter, one of the biggest filters that makes it difficult for people to energize their purpose in our world. So that's been quite a chatty little Facebook Live. I hope I've answered the questions that you all sent in, and thank you for sending them because I really appreciate it. Is there anything that anybody would like to say before I close down? I'm just waiting a couple of minutes in case. Thanks, Juliet. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Okay, doesn't look as though we've got any questions. So that's good. Thanks, Karen. Thanks, Elaine. Okay, well, I'm going to love you and leave you. And I'll talk to you. Oh, hang on. Sarupa says, is meditation the best way? Or is there another thing we can do daily? Hi, Glynis. Meditation. Always meditation. If you can't meditate, ponder, as John would say, ponder or contemplate. But meditation is truly the most direct path to your heart and your purpose. So I'll leave you all on that path. Thank you very much for joining me. I really appreciate it. And don't forget Harmony 21 if you haven't already signed up. It'd be great to have you join us. Good night.